And we're rolling.
Okay. So I'm going to check my order and have an order for Valerie Jones. I'm going to look at the diagnosis, physician, date of birth, and allergies. It is verified, and we have an order to suction and perform trach care. So I'm going to enter the patient's room. I'm going to knock. Hi, my name is Brooklyn. I'm going to be your nurse today. Can you tell me your name and date of birth? She tells me Valerie Jones. So I would explain the procedure, provide for privacy, and wash my hands. Ms. Jones, do you have any allergies? She tells me no. I'm going to hyperoxygenate the patient and check the suction. Make sure that the patient's head is flexed. And I've already washed my hands. I'm going to check, make sure my saline isn't expired, and label it if it was not already labeled. So I'm going to set this out of the way. And I'm going to get my suction kit, and I'm going to open it sterilely.
From the inner,
I'm going to grab a box. I'm going to open it,
cleaning it,
and then I would lip some of the saline and then pour it in there.
make it, and dry it on the outside.
And then I'm going to put my sterile gloves on.
So now I would insert my tubing, and then I would get my sets.
Okay, so I'm going to grab,
Making sure that I do not touch the inner part, and then I would,
alright, so I'll have to fix that once I get this on. I'll grab that. Let's slide this in.
Flip onto our hand after we did it on. We're going to take our
Okay, so now I'm going to screw all this open. First I'm going to grab the suction. So that's kind of folded over, so I'm just going to reach in here.
okay. So now that that is up on the patient, then I would, my hands are obviously not sterile anymore, so I'm going to change my necktie.
So I'm going to wrap this around my hand, and I'm going to hook it to the suction. So this hand is no longer sterile. So I'm going to hook that, and it is hooked. And then I'm going to dip this into the saline, and then I'm going to pull this down. And without touching the tray,
So
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
like loosen it before I completely,
and I'm going to go until I'm at
undo it.
resistance, and then pull back 1 inch. And then I'm going to do this for 10 seconds, controlling and applying intermittent suction.
I still have
So I'm using my thumb
the
to
tie
do the
on the
suction.
patient.
Alright, and then I would pull it out. And I would repeat this step 2 to 3 times depending on how much the patient needed it. So I would dip in saline and then repeat the same steps. So then that is done. So I'm going to twirl this up around my hand. And I'm going to disconnect. And put that back up again.
Okay. Now then I would make sure that it was completely
Alright,
secure.
I'm gonna
and I
wrap
would
this
take
in
off
my glove.
the old tie.
And discard into a biohazard bag.
And I would give the patient oxygen.
So
if they needed
then
it.
I would,
And then I would
this,
put it down.
I would make sure if I was leaving the patient's room, I would make sure to turn the oxygen back down, but I'm gonna stay in the patient's room, so it's okay.
Make sure the patient.
So, now I'm
And
going
then, I would make sure that the pillow was lowered back to a comfortable
I've got my
position
order.
from where we did trach care.
I'm gonna get all my
Lower the
supplies.
bed. Make sure my oxygen is turned down, wash my hands, clean up my mess, and document.
All right, and then I'm going to get rid of this. So I am, if I just entered the room, I would make sure to do all my safety checks, but I've already been in the room. So the patient's already been identified and everything. The bed's up, the patient neck is flexed. So I've already washed my hands and I've checked allergies. So I've got my gloves. I'm gonna go ahead, I've already checked my saline. I'm gonna open my kit. And put it in.
I was trying to take that.
Okay, and I'm gonna scoot it over here. And I'm gonna pour saline into the 2 slots. All right, and then I'm going to apply gloves. And I'm gonna move the inner cannula.
No. That's what I'm saying, like, so you could read this, and I just dipped it in.
All right, and I'm gonna put it into the saline, and then I'm gonna remove the old soft plate. And I would assess it for type, amount, color, and odor, and make sure to document that, and then I would discard. And I'm going to remove my gloves. Perform hand hygiene. All right, so now I'm gonna put on my sterile gloves. So I'm gonna grab that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's over it, like,
And then you're gonna rinse this.
that's the only thing
Back
I've
into
done.
the saline.
And I don't know if they're using Stephen.
I'm gonna put that on. So I'm gonna grab
It's soaking. We're gonna stay on.
and put that on. And then I'm gonna grab this one.
We're gonna take ice cleaner. You're going to be dry.
And I'm gonna put this glove on, so I'm now sterile. So I'm going to knock this out of the way. All right, and then I'm gonna grab my drape.
It does dry. Now that we've cleaned everything, we can place the obturator back inside of our patient.
I'm gonna take the old dressing out and assess it, looking for drainage, color, amount, type. And it's pretty clean. And then I'm going to take
Into place.
the Q-tips. I can't do it.
Now that that's quick in place, we are ready to place our new dressing on. That's still one for the taco. We're gonna be very mindful of the inside of that bead. And at this point, I would call my nurse aide and ask them if they could hand me my extract.
I'm sorry, I'm just like, yeah. Okay. So now I'm gonna take one of the Q-tips and I'm going to dip it in the clean saline spot. And I'm gonna clean from in to out, and then I'm going to drop it in the trash. I'm gonna dip it in the clean saline, clean it in to out underneath, and then drop it in the trash. Dip it in the saline, clean in to out, drop it in the trash. Dip it in the saline, in to out underneath, and drop it in the trash. All right, so now I'm gonna take obturator, and I'm gonna take my wire brush. I'm gonna clean this side first, and then I'm gonna clean this side, and then I'm gonna drop it in the trash, and then I'm going to dry it. Drop that in the trash. Take this one clean. Drop that in the trash. And then I'm gonna take a 4x4 and I'm gonna dry it. And then I'm going to drop that in the trash. And then now that it's clean, I'm gonna put it back in. Alright, and then I'm gonna put the new soft wick in. Alright, and the sterile cord is done. So now I'm gonna get my trach ties and I would measure them and then I'm gonna put them around the patient. Get that to stick.
Yeah.
Alright, and then I'm gonna take the other one too. So I'm taking the old ones off and disposing of them so then I can remove my gloves. I'm gonna make sure to turn the oxygen back down. Put this back on. Make sure the patient's comfortable. Cover them back up. Lower the bed. Make sure they have their call light. I would document and clean up my supplies. Set this here. I'm gonna go grab some towels.
We have an order for Valerie Jones, no allergies.
And then I would verify the oxygen that you want.
Grab my supplies, make sure they're not expired, everything's good.
I'm going to go ahead and change the hydroxyurea.